Hey everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. In the last video we made this cool chromatic distortion effect. And today I want to improve it more by maybe adding some sort of rim light glow and perhaps some other stuff. So without any further delay, let's get started. We can use the fresnel node right away and test out what that looks like. It's pretty simple and straightforward, so all we really have to do is add the result. And we'll have a rim glow on top of the distortion. The only thing is, we can't make it black because it's added. So something else that we can do, well, first let me demonstrate an example. Let's multiply this by a color and make it a property. And then add it here. We can see we can change the color, but we can't make it black because adding 0 doesn't actually add anything at all. Another option that we have that's a bit more versatile is that we use linear interpolation. So this is essentially a mask between two values. The first one will be the actual color of the background, or the scene color, whatever's behind the sphere. And this one will be the actual color that we want, the RGB color. So if we hook that up, and we don't need this anymore, you can see that we can finally have dark edges as well. I want to be able to manipulate the power, so let's create a public property for that one. And we'll call it fresnel power. With a default of, let's say, I don't know, 2. Default was 5 previously. Let's get rid of this so I can see it a bit better, and the sphere collider as well, which we don't really need right now. Not bad. I want to set the color to HDR so that I can make it very bright and bloomy if I need to. Although this scene doesn't have post-processing turned on. I'll get to that in a bit. And let's bump this up a little. So now that I have this, if I enable post-processing, I should be able to bloom it. And the higher I turn it up on the sphere, the more it should bloom. If you don't like this post-processing, you can always play with the tone mapping and color correction. And that's really all it takes. Okay, this looks pretty cool to me so far. One final interesting thing you can do with the fresnel for this tutorial is pass the world normal directly into the fresnel node, and that'll allow the distortion to also be applied to the fresnel, rather than keeping the fresnel uniform over the edges, over the sphere. And because we already separated the noise normal scale from the actual distortion, we can actually separate them and their controls a little bit too. So we can have very little distortion, but a lot of distortion on the fresnel, and also increase the distortion to match it, which I think is pretty cool. And you can change the color as well. Neat! Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you next time!